Hi, hey, and all those other greetings to adventurers. Welcome back to Spade Gals Productions, the gaming and unboxing channel with me, Jakespins, who's also from Spade Gals Original with Girl Cyclones, Quincor, Florali, and vlogs, as well as our videos. And today we have another unboxing for all of you guys to enjoy, being about the GE plush. You're either probably like, when does this line end? Or, oh my god, yay, another GE video. That's awesome. So, here's the thing though. This is probably going to be the last GE video for a while. And possibly, well, I wouldn't say forever, because there are still going to be a few plush out in the wild, such as the regular Shadow and the Sonic X plush. But other than those, unless GE makes any new plush for Classic, probably not because that's mostly finished, but any line, this is going to be the last mainline video for GE. Now, fingers crossed that soon we'll get some more new GE plush and we'll be able to go with Shadow for the reissued stuff. But for now, that's how it's going to go. But thankfully, we do have Jack's Pacific stuff coming on the way, so that's going to be awesome. But today, the plush we're going to be looking at is Team Chaotix, being, well, you'll see in a second. Now, there's a lot of interesting things about the Chaotix. A lot of people probably think that they come from Sonic Heroes. For a long time in my childhood, honestly, that's what I thought. They didn't actually first start off in Sonic Heroes. They were more so molded into what the Chaotix are today in Sonic Heroes. They were actually in a game called Knuckles Chaotix. That's right, if you don't know what Knuckles Chaotix is, it is a classic Sonic game that released in April 1995, I believe for like the Sega 32X, which I still have no clue what the heck that is, and I might have to get an emulator for that. But Knuckles Chaotix was a fairly interesting game, as it had who you'd expect, being Knuckles, Charmy, Sebo, Vector. Oh, you know, Mighty from Sega Sonic Arcade from 1993. And two robots called Heavy and Bomb. Yeah, this game is just crazy. You go through and you pick different partners. That's right. You play as two different characters and they are tethered through a ring and they have different abilities where you go through the different stages that, by the way, you don't actually select. It goes on a roulette wheel, and then whatever it chooses, it goes to that, and then if it chooses that a second time, you go to the next act until you just finish all of the levels and all of the acts. Now you might be like, who in the God's green earth are Heavy and Bomb? It's literally this tin metal kettle looking thing and a bomb. They're Eggman robots, and they actually are supposed to hinder your progress. So Heavy makes you go slower. Not sure on what Bomb actually does. Does it blow you up? Or maybe if you get hit, like, you blow up or something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But Mighty the Armadillo is in this game. You don't see him and Ray until Sonic Mania, and they were never meant to be seen ever again. The thing is, though, this isn't the first time that the Chaotix were in a classic game. Because sure, Mighty was technically in the one that I just said, but I mean from the main Chaotix. Because, believe it or not, in the game Sonic the Fighters, Sebo was in there. Not sure why the rest of them weren't, and also that game has 8 Chaos Emeralds with an orange one. Yeah, Chaos Emeralds were weird back then. But the lineup for that game was Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, Bean, Bark, Fang, and Sebo. That game, you just fight each other to try to go to Eggman's base and destroy Metal Sonic, who I think later becomes playable, as well as Eggman. And there's some unused content in that game. But out of all the random information that is necessary and isn't necessary for this video, we are going to be unboxing the main line of the Chaotix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them up one by one. We're going to talk about that character specifically a little bit, their personality and stuff, and go into the unboxing. So I'm sorry if this is another 30-minute video, but it's very likely that it will be. Alright, so I think I'm going to go by this through typing. So the first Sonic hero in Team Chaotic is Sebo. Now, Sebo is pretty cool. Do keep in mind the fact that their classic designs are actually a little bit different. Sebo's is mostly the same. Charmy's is pretty much the same, except for like how, you know, he translates from 2D to 3D. But Sebo changed a slight bit. Sebo's personality is that he is a ninja. He's fast, he likes to disappear, he throws ninja stars, and he is very, very serious. This is a guy that you can't catch off guard, except for in Sonic X, when he got a bucket of paint dropped on him, and then kicked the crap out of. Also, they thought that Sonic and friends kidnapped Cream. Yep. As helpful as these guys can be, and as smart as they can be, they can be some real clowns sometimes, but it makes them even more lovable. And Sebo is pretty much the level-headed, reasoning type of guy in the group. I don't know his actual age, but the others I kind of know their age. Alright, so let's open this guy up. After literal years, well, not years, but a year of having these guys in a bag in my room, it's nice to open them up. Alright, so let's look at Sebo. So, one thing to notice is the fact that he has that Metal Sonic type of design for the back of his head, meaning that type of form and that type of plush form, if you guys remember for the Metal Sonic video, the way they did the back of his head is the exact same. There's no stuffing in there. It's more so just like a foam material. And while I believe Metal Sonic is actually longer because it kind of folds in a little bit, Sebo's on this plush isn't. They did get the fact that the bottom ones, I believe, are actually shorter, whereas the top one is longer. So, good job on you guys, GE. That's awesome. The coloring is just superb on this guy. It's really amazing. And look at the horn! Seriously, if you didn't know better, you might think that this guy's a rhinoceros. Seriously, there might actually be people that think that. But I do have a question. Do chameleons have horns? Or is that just something Sebo has? You know, just to make him look very ninja-esque. Or maybe he's like 5% rhino. I don't know. See, these are the many questions that I have. Looking more at him, though, because of the horn, he has two separate eyes, which is something that you don't see too often when it comes to characters that are more in the classic line. They've got the smaller white part of the eyes correct, so you've got that, like, brow right there, that, like, serious brow, which is kind of covering his yellow eye, which, good look on that. Eyes are always really good for GE. And then you've got right here a little bit of what Shadow and kind of Amy have. More so Shadow, though, where you have that black line for, I don't even know what that would be called. Looking at it, though, it does actually go under the brow. This one is just covering. This one looks like it's more stuck up. That's probably just from being in the bag. One interesting thing about Sebo as well is the fact that he has a heart on his chest, which is kind of adorable, but he's also not like a romantic character. And I don't believe he's had any female like interests. I don't think so. Granted, though, Espio would be kind of good for, like, Blaze. That would be a pretty nice combination. I still ship Sonic and Blaze, though. But Espio and Blaze would be pretty nice. And with the IDW comics, which these guys are really great in, but with those IDW comics, it could be possible that Espio could have a romantic interest. Who knows? I think that would be an interesting thing to see. But right now, it's a little chaotic in that universe with the metal virus going on. Alright, so one of the cool things is that, well, other characters like Shadow, his gloves weren't that exciting. Looking at Espio's, they went full force on this guy. They put, right there, they put a separate piece with just like a Darth Vader type look, or maybe like a drink canister. Like he's a little thirsty, so he's gonna drink from his glove. It doesn't really look like he's drinking, but it kind of looks like a can. And then you have the wraparound with all the yellow dots, followed by the sports banding. Which, by the way, this guy would have been an amazing character for Boom. Why'd they put Vector in? Why didn't they put Espio? Because the sports tape is kind of already there, so it would have been pretty easy to put him into a Boom design and nobody would have been that upset about it. I don't know. They just like to throw Vector into everything. But anyway, though, going back to the plush, even for the gloves, okay, this top part on the glove is even raised. That's a separate part. And that's crazy. That's a crazy amount of detail, and that's really cool. It's definitely something that they could have probably done better for Blaze, because Blaze is the only character that I don't really enjoy. So even though I really like her character, the plush that they did, that's the only plush I'm like, because she's a little lanky and they could have made her better. So maybe in the redesigns or re-releases, maybe they'll give her like more stuffing or make her a little less lanky. I don't know, a guy can hope. Looking back at the hands, though, back at Espio, he does have all the correct number of fingers. And going to the back, you have his black back spikes, which they do look like they're maybe a little too big, but I think that's just because they go together. This is something that they could have definitely made smaller, and had they made smaller, it probably wouldn't have gone too badly, but it's probably hard to make details like that super small, especially when you have quality control, so it might have actually been better and easier to make it like that. For the tail, it's probably either from being in the bag or how they made it. It does definitely seem a little weird that it's so droopy, especially since it does have this curve on there, which I can understand why they did this sewn pattern instead of doing an actual curve, because even in art, that's super hard to do for some reason. But this definitely could have been better as like a 3D type thing. But as I said, the quality on this is already so good that it doesn't take away from the rest of the plush, and having a minimum amount of detail on something like this so that you can have something like this, that's a great design choice. From the gloves, though, you do have the same exact thing on the shoe, and going from that, you have a multitude of different fabrics for the shoe itself. You've got that nice little purple that's kind of the same as this part in the glove, and then you've got this little like back design and this kind of Sonic strap thing. Alright, good job, Espio. You're doing awesome, but that's it for you, buddy. So it's time for you to ninja disappear. I'm not going to throw him. It was just a joke. Don't worry. It's okay. Oh my god, I would not do that. Alrighty, so the next character we're going to be looking at is actually one of my childhood favorite characters, which is a fly type, being Charmy. Now, a lot of people find Charmy really, really annoying, which as an adult, I can definitely understand where you're coming from on that. Charmy is the same age as Cream, but while Cream is very mild-mannered and very kind, Charmy is super energetic and rambunctious. He is basically the character that just annoys everybody and just kind of rushes into everything. But to be fair, he is supposed to be 6 years old. And I just realized he's also a bee, so he's being a busy bee. And that's why he's always all over the place. Now, I don't know, I can't say for the Archie comics because I haven't seen them. But in the IDW comics, which this is spoilers for the current one, or number 18 and 17. So, with this metal virus going around, Charmy was really upset that Vector said, hey, we gotta leave this person behind. They're infected, and they're going to get more infected, and if we take them along, they're going to be a huge problem. Charmy had a huge problem with him blocking her in with cars. So he went back to get her, and this hurts me so much, because it's like the one time he's being courageous and like thinking of somebody else. It's the one time where it's like, no, don't do that. That is so freaking ridiculously stupid. Don't do it. And he even told him no, and he went back to the city to try to save her, and she was fully a Zombot. That's what they're calling them. And he got turned himself into a Zombot, which is kind of upsetting. It's not the first time, because in the Mega Man Sonic crossover, I believe he was one of the characters that was roboticized. So, not completely forgotten. Alright, so let's open him up. Whew. Man, that was a lot harder to do than I really thought it would be. Also, I'm thinking that another reason why this guy right here, why Charmy is one of my favorites, is probably because of all the yellow, and I just always thought he was fun. You know, I myself really like making quirky, energetic characters like Crestachuri, so that could also be why. And the best part is, in the IDW comic, he was even swinging from the ceiling, which is just great. Now, I have not seen anything about this plush, and before I forget, because I am bursting with an oh my god excitement, I just want to show off, because this is the first Charmy plush, and the only, like, one of the only Charmy merches, because they do have a figure of him, but this is the first Charmy plush, and I want to point out the fact that if you look at the wings, that's not fabric. That is a blue plastic for the wings that you can see through, and oh my god, that is awesome. That is freaking cool and epic, and oh my god, good job, GE. That is amazing. Yes! Yes, good job. You get the thumbs up, because, yes. The next thing that I am noticing, though, is that he doesn't have a gold hamstring, which I love, because that's not needed, but also that makes me a little nervous, because it's like, did they take it out? I don't know. But he does have this little plastic thing, which annoys me just as much, if not more, which I can't cut off because, technically, it makes a mint. So, I really can't do that. The rest of the plush, though, going to the antenna, these are extraordinarily flimsy, which makes sense because they are coming out of the helmet and they do get bigger and then smaller. They kind of look like Big the Cat's fishing pole, you know? It's that kind of design now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it. So that being said, too, the textures are different. This yellow part on the antennas is softer, but the black part is a very different texture. It's a very different material that makes it rough and a little harder. So this is definitely going to be one of those plush that you really are not going to be wanting to feel. I mean, these are all collector's plush, so if you were to try to do anything else with them, other than just having them for a collection, it wouldn't go great. It would go terribly, because that's not what they're made for. But going on this, it's definitely 100% super accurate. You've got the black part of his head on the back. His helmet looks perfect, even having the black part of his helmet be a completely different material. You've got the red border around, and on the top, which I forgot he even had these, they're like these headphone goggles type of thing, which, sure, Charmy never really uses the goggles for goggles, but when you have this on, you really can't do that. I think it's just more so to make him look like a pilot type of a thing, to be like a pilot helmet. But looking at this, the glasses are actually the same material as his wings, which is even more smart because then you don't have to get even more material and then it just looks great. The bottom of that, I am noticing, doesn't have that, but honestly, that would be ridiculous if you could actually see through there, especially since you have the layer of white and then the layer of orange, which has these little black lines surrounding the white part, which is pretty nice looking. Of course, though, he does also have his smile, and I did forget to mention the antennae are a little bit smushed down, but that's from being in the bag. He has a more like honey color for his eyes, which again I've never noticed. One thing that I am noticing though with the eyes, now that I'm mentioning it, is that for this plush, I don't know if it's like them for other ones, but looking at them, those are definitely lopsided. This eye right here is probably in the proper spot, but this eye right here is a little bit too high, and you can definitely tell from where it is on the muzzle. Whereas if that wasn't there, you probably couldn't tell as much, but that is unfortunate. However, they do so well on the eyes to begin with that I'm not really too upset with it. And considering the fact that this man, this 6-year-old, actually has zippers, not pictures of the zippers. Whereas, sure, the shoes and stuff, which I never even noticed those were zippers on there. This was one of my favorite characters. I dressed as him for Halloween, for God's sakes. Which, that costume was just a bunch of duct tape and was so hard to breathe. Seriously, don't put duct tape on a hoodie and then wear it. Unless it's like a super big one, or if you like really put the duct tape around it. It was very warm and, again, very hard to breathe. Whew. Speaking of very hard to breathe, that's how you know I'm all over the place and just very excited about this. I'm also nervous about going over time. But looking at this here, you do have the white collar right there. You have his little black sleeve that are on the jacket, which is just amazing looking. The jacket is the correct color. You do have a yellow line there, which I assume would be accurate, whereas it's a very different material than this print that's on the shoe. And the actual body, if you're curious, the yellow and black here is actually very different from the yellow and black here. I'm assuming to give it a more shaded look, just because it's antenna versus the actual bee, which in real life probably looks a little different. But the reason it looks so different is because the yellow here is actually a more shiny, smooth material, and the black is a close to the same material. So I think it's actually like the same-ish. Looking at this too, you've got the stinger there, which looks really great. And this is a very small, kind of flimsy plush, which is probably why there are a few inaccuracies. But just because it's probably one of the smallest plush in this whole entire line. One cool thing, though, is that they added every little detail on the sole of the shoe. Again, oh my god, that's freaking cool. And they're actually hard, so you can probably make him stand, but he'd probably be a better sitting plush because these legs are flimsy as heck. Look at how flimsy those are. They're super flimsy. They're so ridiculous. The last thing I do want to mention for this plush is that one hand is closed and one hand is open. Why they decided to go with that, I'm honestly not sure, but it kind of works. Not that much. It's kind of annoying. Not gonna lie. But it's a whatever. Alright guys, so there is the fly type Charmy. Pretty cool, pretty cool. My god. So we're going to go from one of the smallest plush to one of the biggest plush. And that character, of course, would be Dr. Ivor Vector. Yeah, that's right. And he actually doesn't even have a bag to open. They just shoved this, oh no, the tag. God dang it. That's annoying. But they shoved this, like, shower curtain thing in. So, here's the thing. You guys probably remember how big the cat was. Well, Storm, a lot bigger than Big. This guy probably somewhere in the middle. I'm hoping closer to like where Big is so that I can actually put him on the shelf and not have to rearrange too much, because if I have to rearrange a lot, that's going to be a lot of yikes. But here we have Vector the Crocodile. Interestingly enough, there is actually speculation that one of the concept arts for the original game of Sonic the Hedgehog actually has Vector in it. Sonic has a band there, and, well, there's a crocodile in it. So that's neat. I pretty much talked about all that I've wanted to talk about for these characters, but Vector himself, he's the leader of the Chaotix. He loves music and singing, and he's very bad at it. His voice can literally kill robots. Might as well have Squidward join. So then you can just destroy everything with music. But he's also self-aware about it. He's also a very interesting character. This character is basically the Mr. Krabs of the Sonic universe. Anything for money, he will do it. Maybe not to the extent, like if you give him pennies, he's probably going to be pretty upset. But he does everything and is motivated through everything in his detective work through money. It's crazy. Which is why they put him in Sonic Riders, Sonic Free Riders, which I still find weird because they put him on Team Rose, and instead of having Big, they put Vector. Why? Why? Why not just add Team Chaotix? Or just have Big? Why did you have to put Vector? And then Tomy has a classic Vector plush. Randomly. And then, guess what? Team Sonic Racing. Vector is with Blaze and Silver. Why? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. He's not a bad character. He's not bad. I like him. He's not my favorite, but I like him. I just don't understand why they're shoehorning Vector into everything. At least in the GE line, he's with Sebo and Charmy, and it feels right. Sorry, I know I rant about that a lot, but let's get on to the plush because my voice is dying. It's dying a lot. Whew. So the plush itself has his little snout here, which is about the same texture as his stomach, because you know he's got a slide in the ground, and you got to have a nice smooth texture for that. So that's pretty good. He's got, for one of the biggest plush, some of the smallest detail being his teeth on there, which, looking at there, his snout is a little crooked, but again, he's been in a bag for how many years? Who even knows? His eyes are a little bit hard to see, but yet again, he has kind of like a honey type of eye color, and his eyes are relatively small anyway. They probably could have made them be a little bit bigger, but it's not too bad. From here, though, you do have the headphones themselves, which look pretty good. Which, where does he listen to them from? Kind of like Knuckles. Like, how do they hear? How do they hear things? I don't understand. But for the headphones, you have this little tiny gray part in this square. And one of the cool things is, oh my god, this is actually decently soft. And the like the little texture that actually feels really satisfying. I'm sorry, it probably looks kind of creepy, but looking at this, you have so much material that is overlapping itself. You know, you've got the hooks, and then look on both ways. Actually, that's a full ring right there. So that's super impressive. Going on to the back, you have the orange scales, which actually go all the way down to the tail. And his arms are surprisingly flimsy for what this plush is. You'd think that it would have been a little more structured, considering that when I'm feeling by the legs, they have either like a small metal rod in there or some type of like something really hard, like maybe a little cardboard to keep the legs sturdy so that they can't move because of how the tail is. Because then you don't want them to sit or have those move too much. So you'd think they would have done the same for the arms, but no. The arms are super loose and flimsy, which, again, really weird. His hands are also interestingly posed. Like, this one is a pointing pose, which has not been done for any other plush. And then this one is kind of like a, yes, I got this. I'm on the case. I'm on the job. Yeah. Looking at the actual cuffs, you've got the buckle detail as well as the line fully on there and fully complete, which that is super, super puffy and super cool. You've also got the bottom of Vector shoes, which I have personally never seen. So I didn't know that these were on there. So that is just super insane. Now, of course, Vector does not have as much detail, while he does have a lot of things on him, such as his chain and his headphones, that make him unique. He doesn't have too much detail. I mean, he's just Vector. Alright, guys, so that is the video. My god, that was longer than so many. That's one of my longest videos ever. That's insane. But we've unboxed Sebo, we've unboxed Charmy, and we have unboxed Vector. So you have one of the largest characters, one of the largest plush, one of the a medium-sized plush, and then one of the smallest plush. Sorry, it's hard to hold. Charmy's probably gonna get. Oh god. That's a good picture, though. That's a good thumbnail picture. But, yeah, that is all of the Chaotix and a lot of information. I am very sorry if I annoyed anyone or if I missed any information. And I'm so sorry that I talk so fast. It's not intentional. But even so, we still went for almost 40 minutes. Just so this video won't be any longer and so that the oxygen can come back into my head and just into my voice and all that, I'm just going to end it off. This series has been awesome. I almost said awful. It's been awesome. You guys have been really cool. Thank you so much for watching all these videos. And, yeah, you guys got nice amount of information and a good look at these guys. Alright, let me know if I missed anything and what you think of all the plush and how this video went. And I'll see you guys later. So, Team Chaotix! Yeah. Keep your toes safe. Sniff. Sniff, sniff. Bye.